Deep in the Amazon, there are places the modern world simply does not belong. When a group of 10 Brazilian miners searching for gold ventured too far, they stepped straight into an ambush. Under the night sky, they relaxed around the campfire, drinking and sharing tales of their quest for fortune, completely unaware that the Flecheiros tribe was watching them from the shadows of the jungle, preparing their attack. Without warning, arrows flew through the sky, hitting each miner with deadly precision. In a split second, all 10 miners went from laughing and talking to being struck down, taking their last breath. This is the story of how 10 gold miners ventured too far into the Amazon rainforest and were met with a deadly ambush. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest lies the Yavari Valley, one of the last truly untouched places on Earth. It's a world frozen in time, where uncontacted tribes have lived in isolation for centuries, far removed from the modern world. But in 2020, that fragile balance was shattered. A group of illegal gold miners ventured too far into forbidden territory, into the domain of the Flecheiros, a tribe known for their deadly accuracy with arrows. What followed was not just a clash, but a lethal ambush. Today, we uncover the chilling story of those miners who crossed a line and paid the ultimate price. The Yavari Valley is located deep in the Brazilian Amazon, close to the borders of Peru and Colombia. Spanning nearly 32,000 square miles, this remote region is a refuge for some of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. One of the most well-known groups in the area is the Flecheiros tribe, also known as the Arrow People, a name that is both literal and fearsome. For centuries, these indigenous people have lived in isolation, far from the reach of modern civilization, fiercely guarding their land from any outsiders. The Brazilian government, through its agency FUNAI, has designated the Yavari Valley as a protected indigenous territory, meaning it is illegal to enter without permission. But that doesn't stop everyone. As the demand for resources like gold grows, illegal miners, often called garimpeiros, have started encroaching on these sacred lands, risking not only their lives, but also the survival of the uncontacted tribes. In 2020, illegal gold mining operations surged in the Brazilian Amazon. With the lure of gold prices soaring, groups of miners began pushing deeper into protected areas, ignoring government restrictions. These miners, often poorly equipped and desperate for a big payout, ventured into regions they knew were dangerous. The Flecheiros, living in isolation, are completely dependent on their land. For them, these intrusions aren't just trespasses, they're existential threats. Illegal mining not only destroys the environment, but also introduces diseases to which uncontacted tribes have no immunity. Entire communities can be wiped out by something as simple as the flu, and the Flecheiros know this. For them, there is no regulation, no compromise. When outsiders come into their land, they fight back, but the miners had no idea how deadly this fight would be. In 2020, a group of illegal gold miners entered the Yavari Valley, looking for untapped gold deposits. What they likely didn't know, or ignored, was that this was Flecheiros territory. As the miners set up camp and began their operations, they were unaware that they were being watched by the tribe. The Flecheiros, known for their deadly accuracy with bows and arrows, saw the miners as invaders. To them, this was an act of war. As night fell, the tribe launched their attack. In a flash, arrows rained down upon the miners, who had little chance to defend themselves. Witnesses, possibly other miners or those involved in illegal activities in the area, reported the aftermath to Brazilian authorities. Bodies were found pierced with arrows, a chilling reminder of the tribe's skill and precision. The few survivors of the attack fled, but by the time help arrived, it was too late for their comrades. So why did the Flecheiros react so violently? To understand this, we need to understand the history of uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. For hundreds of years, these tribes have been under siege, from colonization to the rubber boom, to modern-day deforestation and illegal mining. Each time outsiders have come, they've brought devastation. Disease, violence, and destruction have been the markers of these encounters. The Flecheiros, like many other uncontacted tribes, have learned that the only way to survive is to keep the outside world at bay. Their bows and arrows aren't just weapons, they're tools of survival. And when miners or loggers enter their lands, they are seen as immediate threats, regardless of their intentions. After the deadly ambush, the Brazilian government was alerted to the massacre. FUNAI, Brazil's National Indian Foundation, investigated the area, but the remoteness of the Avari Valley makes it difficult to gather information or even recover bodies. Due to the rugged terrain and dense forest, authorities couldn't retrieve all the bodies, and the exact number of victims remains unclear. Illegal mining in the Amazon has been a persistent problem, but this particular incident sparked a renewed conversation about the dangers of trespassing on indigenous lands. The killings serve as a stark warning to those who seek to exploit these protected territories. The consequences can be swift and deadly. The story of the gold miners killed by the Flecheiros isn't just a tragic tale from a remote corner of the world. It's a window into a much larger issue. As the Amazon faces increasing threats from illegal mining, deforestation, and climate change, the uncontacted tribes who live there are under greater pressure than ever before. The Flecheiros and other tribes are on the front lines of a battle to protect their way of life, and their very survival depends on maintaining their isolation. But as long as there is gold to be found or forests to be cut down, the threat from outsiders will persist. The clash between modern industry and ancient ways of life is ongoing, and the stakes couldn't be higher. In 2020, the illegal gold miners who ventured into the Avari Valley crossed a line that they likely didn't fully understand. For the Flecheiros, that line was one between survival and extinction, between defending their land and letting it be taken. The deadly ambush was not just an act of violence, but an act of defense, an ancient tribe trying to preserve its existence in the face of modern encroachment. As long as the demand for resources like gold remains high, these clashes will continue. The story of the Flecheiros and the gold miners is a reminder that in the depths of the Amazon, the fight for survival is as fierce as ever, and those who ignore the warnings may pay the ultimate price. What do you think about this deadly encounter in the Amazon? Should governments do more to protect uncontacted tribes from the pressures of illegal mining? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more tragic but intriguing stories from the world's most remote and dangerous places.